Derby County pick up all 3 points at home versus Leyton Orient. Pompey drop 2 points versus Bolton Wanderers after being dominated for an entire 90 minutes. Peterborough lose in emphatic fashion as Oxford solidify their place in the playoff positions. Barnsley also drop points, but shall we take a look into each and every fixture of those top promotion challenging sides, and then let's take a look at the league table, and then let's get into each fixture. So as you can see here, Derby County are in second place with 86 points and Pompey at the top, 91 from 43 games. Bolton Wanderers, also a game in hand on Derby, sit on 82. They now have little to no control over what happens in this back end of the season. Derby County, I believe, need 4 more points to solidify promotion to the Championship. Obviously, Bolton Wanderers have to face Shrewsbury, Port Vale and Peterborough. Derby County just have Cambridge and Carlisle. It's going to be very interesting to see how that final playoff place takes shape, as Lincoln City lost today, but so did Stevenage, and Blackpool find themselves now just 3 points outside of those playoff promotion places, but they have played an extra game on those teams around them. Shall we take a look into the first game of the afternoon, which I'm going to be reviewing? If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below to stay tuned for all my EFL League One and Derby County content that will be coming over the coming weeks as the season ends. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. First off, we have Stevenage's 2-1 defeat to Burton Albion. Burton Albion found themselves in dangerous territory. They got themselves out of the playoffs midweek without even playing after Port Vale got beat convincingly by Peterborough. That put Burton Albion back into safety as a result of goal difference. Well, today they've picked up all 3 points against Stevenage with goals from Helm and Hamer. A late goal from Hemmings at Stevenage saw a little bit of a resurgence, but a red card from Butler sort of put that to an end. They obviously lost a few players early on in the game, with Mason Bennett and John Brayford coming off with injuries, but Harvey White came in for Stevenage, and if you look down the right-hand side, if you look at the whole picture, it wasn't really a great game for Stevenage. The central centre-back, Van Kooten, brilliant performance from him, but then, other than that, no real standouts. Piergiani doesn't seem to be anywhere near the level that we've seen from him this season. Obviously, Reed picking up an assist for, obviously, the Hemmings goal, but it just wasn't good enough from Stevenage today. And that result, if you look at the league table on the right-hand side, puts them 6 points behind Oxford with 2 games left to play. Now, realistically, they're not getting into the playoffs. That is near enough conversation done for Stevenage. Steve Evans will probably be disappointed, but also be delighted with his team's performance this season. And Burton Albion, I said it in the preview, that they're sort of in a bit of a weird position. They're battling relegation, as we all know. And it was like Patterson had lost his mojo and the team had lost their mojo. They hadn't won in 10. I think they'd only picked up a couple of draws in that time as well. And it's very disappointing for them. But today, they really came to the table. Hughes picking up 2 assists. Hamer picking up a goal. Helm picking up a goal. Crocombe looks to have had an excellent performance. Unfortunate for Burton that they lost their captain John Brayford and one of their forwards Mason Bennett, both to injury, as according to the commentators on BBC Radio Derby. But they'll be absolutely delighted with that. And if we do scroll down a little bit more, you can see that that puts them 3 points clear of Port Vale, 5 clear of Cheltenham Town. Now, Steve Evans used all 5 substitutes today. Kane Hemmings coming on and making a difference, but it just wasn't enough. Mustafa Carriol, Joe Hugel, Steve Seddon all came on for Burton Albion, as well as Kieran Gilligan. Like, they utilised their bench as well, and it's good to see Martin Patterson getting a tune out of his players, especially in such a tough fixture versus one of the better sides in League One. And as you can see, they were the better side, and it's quite clear that they were the better side. But Burton Albion picked up 2 goals at crucial points. One just before half-time, and one at the midway point of the second half. It sort of sealed, like, going 2-0 up at that point, especially after having a red card for Stevenage, it sort of sealed the win. Now, Stevenage did score late on, but their pressure never really amounted to anything. And if we scroll down here now and look at the possession, you can see Burton Albion were absolutely nowhere in this game. Just 7 shots, 4 on target, with an expected goals of 0.34 and 25% possession. But 2 big chances, which aren't even classed as big chances, were taken in the just outside the 6-yard box. Now, you look at Stevenage, 75% possession, 1.77 expected goals with 13 shots, 6 on target, 2 big chances. Now, Stevenage will be fuming. You look at the accurate passes from Burton Albion, 61 accurate passes, 33%, whereas they, 422. Just wasn't good enough from Stevenage today, and it will be a result which costs them, in the long run, in their battle for the playoffs. Obviously, with 2 games left, they're 6 points outside, and they've got a long, long way to go to get into it. And the next game is one that was sealed really, really early on. A 1 minute goal, first minute goal for Karamako Dembele with an assist from Shane Lavery. Put them 1-0 up against Carlisle United at Brunton Park, and they came away victorious after that. Now, Blackpool still in that battle for the playoffs. I believe they have played an extra game. We'll have gone through that earlier on in the video when we were talking on the league table. And for me, Blackpool did what was necessary. And that is what other teams in those playoff places need to do. Just pick up your wins and it should fall into place. Now, if we scroll down now and look at the 2 sides. Now, Carlisle are already relegated. And as you can tell here, they've gone with a 5-3-2. Not many familiar names from... Now, you can tell me down in the comments if you're Carlisle United fans, but as I've been doing these reviews and I've looked at a couple of Carlisle games, some of the names stick out, like Mellish, like Lavelle. Some of these names stick out, but not all of them. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments if this is like a very rotated side. Obviously, Huntington and Armour put in really good performances. Obviously, not enough to get anything out of the game, but they did their job and they can be happy about that. But then you look at the Blackpool side and you can see it's a team of players battling for those playoff places. Lavery with the assist early on. Karamako Dembele, another excellent performance in a Blackpool shirt. He's come on loan and he's come on leaps and bounds since his first game of the season. He's been absolutely excellent, especially in recent weeks. He played against Derby just a few weeks ago and I thought he was the best player on the pitch, including ourselves, despite coming away with the win. Obviously, Carey, Coulson, brilliant performances from them, as well as Epicata and Pennington. They also had good performances. But that all said and done, they did the result. They got what they needed. Carlisle just weren't able to do it. And Paul Simpson, he already knows his fate. It's already sealed for this. And if we look now at the momentum chart, it was realistically all Blackpool. Despite the early goal and not scoring again, it sort of was just Blackpool. There was a few moments, few specks for Carlisle, but nothing really crazy, and that is how the game ended with a 1-0 result. If we just scroll down now and look at these statistics, obviously 60% possession to 40, not quite Burton Albion, Stevenage, but still Blackpool very much in charge. 1.61 XG, 14 shots, 2 on target, 3 big chances, 2 of them missed, obviously. It's just really good. And if you look at the shots, obviously Carlisle have all their shots in really good areas, but only have a 0.31 XG, which tells me that they aren't incredibly good chances. And also by the lack of big chances missed and big chances in general. And obviously only 5 shots. It tells you a story. It really does. Now, it's unfortunate for Carlisle. They are already relegated. And I'll be hoping personally for a result against Carlisle on the final day of the season at Pride Park. But let's now get into the next game. Lincoln City have been on incredible form recently, but after a draw the other day, they have now fell to defeat against Wigan Athletic. I believe this is the first defeat in around 20 to 21 games, and it happened at their home ground. Now, Wigan Athletic have had a really good season given the situation that they found themselves in, and the likes of Johnny Smith and Hughes have put in really good performances. I think Charlie Hughes, he's up for Young Player of the Year. Absolutely deserved. I think he's had a really good season given the circumstances at Wigan. Obviously, Daniel Mandaru put Lincoln back on level terms just before half-time, but they was unable to convert anything in the second half, and that led to Wigan Athletic taking all 3 points in late on in the game with the goal in the 90th minute. Now, Lincoln City obviously didn't have their best performance today. Joe Taylor unable to pick up a goal. Low rating for House as well. So apart from their midfield two of Urin and Mandahu, it's very, very difficult to pinpoint any real strong points from the game today. Whereas if you look at that Wigan side, a lot of those players are absolutely shining with green because they've put in really good performances. The likes of Smith, Asgard, another Smith in midfield. They've got a load of Smiths down at Wigan. And then you've got Pearce, Kerr, Hughes, Sessegnon also putting in good performances. And it just goes to show that Wigan Athletic, despite their points deductions, can put in the battle against those teams higher up in the division. Now, obviously, Wigan are mid-table. I'm not 100% sure how many points they've lost. I want to say it's about 6. And if we go down to the bottom, sorry, it's 8. So with their 8 points, they'd be on 64. So they'd be in 10th place. Now, it's nothing to sniff at that. I think they've had an excellent season. Obviously wouldn't have been in playoff contention, but realistically, if they weren't in this situation, it'd have been a very different season for them. Anyway, Maloney and Skubala both done excellent jobs. And if we just look at this match momentum, realistically, it looks like a very even game from the match momentum. Now, Wigan Athletic took their chances and came away with 3 points, whereas Lincoln City were unable to capitalise on the chances they created. Now, if we look now at the match stats, it is 65% possession to 35. Lincoln City created the better chances, but also had 2 more shots. Wigan Athletic, 2 more shots on target, and you can just see by the shot areas, Lincoln City, did they get a bit desperate with a lot of those shots from outside the area? Obviously, Wigan had a few as well, but collecting 2 goals, can't really complain. And obviously, Lincoln City's goal was come from way out the area as well. But you want chances in the box, don't you? Because they're the better type of chance. You'll have to let me know, Lincoln fans, Wigan fans, down in the comments. What did you make of the performance? I think Wigan will be delighted. I think Lincoln are probably very disappointed, given the position they're in. Obviously, they'd have hoped to make that final playoff place, but is that still going to be possible? Another disappointing result for a playoff hopeful. Now, Barnsley are in a really good position to seal their the final playoff place, seal 5th or 6th, whatever happens with Oxford. But in this game, they came away with just a point. Reading going in front twice and dropping twice, not long after scoring at Oakwell. It's a difficult place to go, really. And Fabio Jallo, a really young striker at Barnsley, picked up the goal late on to seal the 2-2 draw, but Lewis Wing and Sam Smith picking up the goals for Reading. Obviously, Barnsley will come away very disappointed from this game. Now, if you look at the players, some of them put in really good performances, but they also had some disappointing ones too. Obviously, Devante Cole still not quite hitting the form that he's hit in previous seasons. Seems to have struggled recently. I'm not sure why. You'll have to let me know down in the comments, Barnsley fans. But it's just one of those things strikers go through ups and downs throughout the season. I don't think Derby County have had a striker score for 4 or 5 games, but we're getting the job done. Now, if you look at the Reading side, Lewis Wing again stepping up with a magnificent performance. Sam Smith and Femi Aziz picking up goal contributions yet again. Harvey Nibbs, another shining light. So it's a very good performance from Reading, very good from Barnsley. Will obviously be disappointed with the point, but you look at the players at Ruben Selles' disposal, it's not a disappointing Reading team. They have quite a lot of good players, and obviously Neill Collins, he's had some calls for his head recently after some very disappointing performances at Barnsley. But what do you do? Let me know down in the comments. Would you get rid of Collins if you're a Barnsley fan? Let me know. I think it's a bit harsh to be in the playoffs and have your head called. Now, it is happening at Derby County as well on occasion with Paul Warne, but I do think it's harsh in those positions. But yeah, so the match momentum, here we have it then. And as you can see, very 50-50 game, very even. Reading took their chances, so did Barnsley. It's just one of those games where it doesn't quite swing towards anybody. And if we look at the possession, yes, Barnsley had more of it, but they equaled each other in expected goals. They were pretty much even on shots as well. Now, Barnsley did have more shots on target, but both teams missed some big chances. Barnsley created 4, missing 3. Reading created 2, missing 2. Now, both teams did obviously score 2 goals. Both of Barnsley's coming inside the penalty area. One of Reading's coming inside the penalty area. One from coming outside the box. So, it's a very, very even performance. And a 2-2 draw was probably what was to be expected given the numbers behind the game. And as I said, there's been a few huge results in League One this week. Oxford United, a 5-0 thumping of Peterborough United. And I went on social media after the Derby County game onto my Twitter, and realistically, Peterborough fans don't have anything to moan about. Like, Oxford United absolutely ruined them, scoring 3 goals in 38 minutes, really sort of sealed the deal. A lot of half-time changes for Peterborough, as you can see on the right-hand side. Johnson Clark-Harris coming on, Ajibowie coming on, and Critchlow Noble, Fernandez. Lots of big changes at the half-time. And it still didn't really do much. They still lost 2-0 in the second half, but they'll be very, very disappointed, Peterborough. But they got played off the park. Darren Ferguson admitted it. Their fans are admitting it. Oxford United putting in really good performances. They've had a few of these recently. They've won a few games 4-0. I think they've won a couple 4-0, and I think they've won, obviously, this one 5-0. They've put in some really good performances. Ruben Rodriguez picking up 2 goals. The other Murphy, picking up a goal and an assist. Obviously, Harris getting a goal as well. And you look at that team of Peterborough United, some very, very poor performances. And you can see why Darren Ferguson made those changes at half-time. Just nowhere to be seen, really. Steer's going to be disappointed. Cipriano is going to be disappointed too. And obviously, those changes at half-time, they're all going to be absolutely livid with themselves to have to come off and be 3-0 down at that point of the game. Very, very disappointing for them. And as you can see, like, Peterborough did have like some momentum in the game, but they were just tactically outclassed. There was a conversation going on Twitter, and it was literally a case of they don't think they've ever seen Peterborough be that outclassed before. And Darren Ferguson said that hasn't happened this season in his post-match, but it happened today. And as you can see, despite all the possession and all the chances, with 1.97 XG, 70% possession, 2 big chances, they just weren't able to come away from Oxford with anything. Oxford, very, very clinical, 2.96 XG, 5 big chances, just 2 of those missed. They scored 5 times with just 6 shots on target. They come away from this game in excellent, excellent form. And they'll be looking at those playoffs and thinking, who are we going to get? What can we do? Because I think Oxford, if they can keep up performances like this, they'll have a real shot at making it, not just to Wembley, but into the Championship. You'll have to let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And what do you think? Will Oxford make it into that final playoff place, and will they get to the final? So just 2 more games to go, and it is the big ones. Derby County versus Leyton Orient at Pride Park. After dropping 2 points in midweek to Wycombe, Derby made a whole host of changes. I've got a full match review for this game on the channel, which I posted yesterday. Sort of a match day vlog, match review. So go and check that out. Let me know what you think. But obviously, it's gone down as a Moncur own goal within the first 10 minutes. But for me, it's got to be Kane Wilson's. Brilliant cross from the corner. I believe it was Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. And it was excellent. It was a brilliant, brilliant ball. Landed right at the feet of Kane Wilson, who I think put it in. Now, whether it was a Moncur own goal, I'd have to have a look at the replay again, but I thought it was a brilliant performance. Then just a few moments later, Louis Sibley, about 10 minutes later, put in another cross. Sonny Bradley in the box, won his, well, it wasn't even a header, it was a volley, like a striker's finish. Absolutely excellent from him. And Derby were 2-0 up going into the break. Never really felt threatened by Leyton Orient. We'll have a look at the stats in a moment to see if that was the case. But for me, didn't really feel very threatened. And then as the game got on, it sort of died down a bit. Obviously, Derby didn't really need another goal. Leyton Orient knew they had nothing to play for. Getting a draw doesn't do anything for them. They needed to win, realistically, at all costs. And their season is now over. They can't do anything. But if we look at the lineups, Derby did obviously score a third corner in the game with Sonny Bradley at the back post from a Conor Horahan set piece this time. And they made a few changes with Corey Blackett-Taylor missing a massive opportunity midweek. He was pulled out to bring Sonny Bradley back in. And then Connor Washington was dropped for Liam Thompson. in my match review, I gave rave reviews for Iba Wadhams, Corey Smith, Louis Sibley and Sonny Bradley. I thought they all had excellent performances. I thought it was Nathaniel Mendez-Lang's best game in a while. Obviously, your non-negotiables of Cashin, Wildsmith and Nelson were excellent. Wildsmith had a really good performance. And to be fair, I don't think Leyton Orient were that bad. Like, I think Jordan Brown had a good game. I thought their 22, Galbraith at right back. Now, I don't believe he's a natural right back. I think he plays in midfield normally. Thought he had a good game. But it was just one of those where it happens, and Derby County are pushing for that automatic promotion place for a reason. Leyton Orient are where they are for a reason. And I think it did show today. And if we just scroll down, obviously, looking at the bench, Conor Horahan came on. Look at the quality of those players coming on for Derby compared to what's coming on for Leyton Orient. And it just shows why they're where they are. Now, no disrespect to Leyton Orient. They're still a good side. Mid-table in League One for them is brilliant. They'll be hoping to turn it on and push for the playoffs next season. But will they be able to do it? Obviously, looking at the match momentum, you can see it's pretty much all Derby. Derby were very much in control of this game. As a Derby fan sitting in the stands, I never really felt threatened by Leyton Orient. They may have had a couple of chances, but after we'd gone 2-0 up, the game went a bit dead, and obviously Bolton were losing at that point, and we were absolutely delighted in the stands. And it's just one of those for me where Leyton Orient just on the beach. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, they knew there was no point trying to get a point, because getting a point does nothing for them. They can't go up, can't go down. So it's just one of those. And if we look at the stats, like, yes, they had more possession, but look at where all Derby's chances were. Every shot bar one in the box, 13 total shots, 3 on target, 2 big chances, took them both. Obviously, Derby County, not a very possession-based side, but 48% possession, 159 accurate passes, which that passing accuracy is dreadful. It really is dreadful. I'll never understand this poor Warne football, but it is heavily effective, and that is why we're sitting where we are. I believe we've got 10 more points now than last season. We broke a record for most points in a season since 2013-14, since the addition of 3 points for a win. So Derby County come away from this absolutely delighted. Sonny Bradley putting his name in the headlines after being in the headlines for all the wrong reasons a few weeks ago against Northampton. Let me know your thoughts of that down in the comments. If you want to see my full match review and preview, I'll link that in this video, so go and check that out as well. If it's not in the video, check my recent videos. We'll now get into the final game of this video. And this is the one which it's massively important in the scheme of promotion. Now, we're going to get into it in a minute. Now, I've heard a lot about this game. I've not really looked at the numbers, or I haven't seen any highlights from the game. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, but it was put across that Portsmouth were absolutely battered by Bolton, and realistically, taking a point away, it just shows why they are top of the league. Even when they're awful, when they're not performing to the level that they should be, they still come away with a point. And Abu Kamara picking up another goal just 7 minutes in. Aaron Collins, he's collected another goal today as well. And they'll both be absolutely delighted. And both teams will have differing feelings about this. Bolton will be livid because they had the opportunity to stay within 2 points going into a game in hand against Shrewsbury. But now they're 4 points behind Derby. And the game in hand is essentially a non-talking point. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, they can close up to 1 point, but will they? Will this knock them out their sails? Because obviously, if we scroll down, you look, and the Shaughnessy, Marlon Pack, Kamara, Rafferty putting in good performances for Portsmouth. But you look at that Bolton side, Santos had a good game, Collins had a good game, Ogbetter, left wing back, had a good game. And a lot of people say if they had a better striker than Bodvarsson, they'd probably have won this game. That's what I'm seeing on social media, on the Bolton pages. You'll have to let me know your thoughts. Obviously, Ian Evatts picks him often, seems to do a good job when he plays. I thought he was really good against Derby, was just unlucky not to score that day. But John Mousinho has come away from games with second and third taking 2 points. He's taken 2 points off Derby this season. I think he's taken 4 points off Bolton. He'll be absolutely delighted with that, especially when you look at the league table. They're 9 points clear of Bolton and essentially can't be caught. And they are 5 points clear of Derby. obviously Derby could still win the title, but Portsmouth would have to lose their next 2 games, which I can't see happening for a team that's only lost 4 times this season. But you look, there's been some good performances on the pitch, but nothing that special. Obviously, even the substitutes didn't really make much of a difference to the game, despite when they happened. And you look here, Bolton all over them. And even that possession stat at the bottom of your screen, 58% to 42%, it just speaks volumes. You even look at the expected goals now and the 19 shots from Bolton. But if you look at where the shots are coming from, the majority of them are outside the box. And that is one of the big problems in this league. You've got a lot of teams that they have a lot of shots, but they're not in good areas. Yes, 1.83 XG, but when you're taking 19 shots, that doesn't average out very highly at all. So I think Portsmouth come away the happier of the 2 sides. Bolton will be absolutely livid not to take more than a point from this game. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I know I've got some Bolton fans that watch my videos and some Portsmouth fans as well. So let me know your thoughts. Are you happy with the performance? Are you happy with the result? What do you think is going to happen over the next few games? Do you think Bolton are going to pip Derby to 2nd place? Do you think Portsmouth might even lose their final games? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. So that will be that for this week of League One action. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel for an upcoming League One preview for the midweek fixtures, and then make sure you stick around because I'll have a Derby County match review out on Thursday, as well as a League One preview on Friday. So make sure you're staying all up to date with all my latest content by hitting that subscribe button. Let me know which League One team you support down in the comments, or what team you support anyway, and I'll catch you in the next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.